My work is in the global carbon cycle. Most people know about atmospheric CO2 and greenhouse gases, but many people don't know that actually only about half of the CO2 that people emit through combustion every year stays in the air, and the other half goes away, and it's a great thing. We wish even more of it would go away, or that we could make it go there faster. But remarkably, it's not very well understood where this other half of the CO2 is going. It's clearly going partly into the oceans and partly into plants and soils on land. And my research is all about trying to figure out where it's going, how it gets there, how long it's going to stay there, is there anything we can do to make it go there faster. Many people work either in the oceans or on the land surface on the actual sequestration processes themselves. How does the CO2 get into the surface? I work in collaboration with a lot of those sorts of scientists, but we take the observations from the atmosphere first. We say if you could track a blob of air as it moves along and it encounters factories and forests and oceans, by tracking the changes in that air mass as it moves along, you can figure out what's going on at the surface. And it's quite complementary to the sort of forests or agricultural or oceanographic types of research that's going on. So my students work globally using satellite data, using global models, numerical weather prediction type tools. Regionally, using data from aircraft or tall towers with mesoscale models, say looking at clouds and fronts and the effects as they move along. Or locally at specific field locations. I have field collaborations in Wisconsin, Oklahoma, and Brazil. And we do a lot of work on the atmosphere interactions with the land surface in the northern forests, the sort of central grasslands, and in the tropical forests. We're actually at a very exciting time in carbon cycle science. From the atmospheric point of view, for many years, really decades, we've been limited to observations that are made at remote locations out in the, mostly over the oceans, Hawaii, Antarctica, northern Canada. Just in the next few years, the plans are to deploy observing resources across the United States, towers, airplanes, field campaigns, to really track this atmospheric constraint on the carbon cycle at a much higher level than it's been in the past. Towards the end of the decade, we're anticipating satellite data on atmospheric CO2 from space, which will give us a moving picture, if you will, of the atmosphere and how it changes hour to hour, day by day, rather than just the snapshot that's taken once a week through these remote locations. So I think where we're going is that in 10 years' time, I'm no longer going to be giving that description that I gave at the beginning of this interview, where we don't know where the carbon's going or how it gets there or how long it's going to stay. We're going to know those answers. We're actually going to change the nature of this science from very speculative to really analyzing the mechanisms behind the carbon sink. Very exciting. I'm excited to be part of this big change in the nature of the science. I'm very involved with the national and international level planning activities, trying to coordinate all these big new field programs and the modeling and the satellite data that goes into them. I certainly hope to be in the middle of this change. Primarily my contribution, our group's contribution, is bringing the atmospheric data together with the ground-based terrestrial ecology data and modeling through these atmospheric transport models and a new set of techniques that's known as data assimilation or model data fusion. It's a new set of techniques that's been imported, if you will, from weather forecasting and numerical weather prediction part of the science, and now is being applied in carbon cycle and ecosystem sciences. This has been one of my pet projects, if you will, over the years, and I'm very optimistic that this is going to take us a long way in the future. This is a fantastic department, very, very strong. We treat our graduate students as grown-ups. You know, I see my students as colleagues that work with me together in a team approach on our research projects. They have offices, they have desks, they have computers, they have phones, fax, email, the whole office kind of environment. Our students work on cutting-edge problems in whatever subject that their advisor is working, and they become junior scientists, really, while they're here. They travel to national and international meetings, they present research results, they take a creative look at their own results, they write articles for scholarly journals. We really, right from the start, are working with students in a trusting relationship where we're bringing them into the research, bringing them into being scientists, actively being part of the research.